This is Dr. Cecily. Welcome to my channel. Look, listen, I'm talking about leadership and democracy. There's three things I want to talk about. I'm down here in Cobb County, Georgia, and I want to talk about three things. I want to talk about Ahmad Aubrey, because, you know, this is the anniversary of him being murdered, and I'll talk about that more. And I want to talk about what they're doing as far as the voting down here with the GOP trying to do voter suppression. And number three, I want to talk about Cobb County and DeKalb County bringing some lawsuits. Okay, let me start with, and this is notable because, first of all, this was February 23rd, 2020, when Ahmad Aubrey, he was a 25-year-old black male, and he was just jogging, right? He was jogging, went into a home, like some people do, just curiosity. You could see him on the camera just looking and not really touching anything, just being curious. Then he goes on with his jog. Broad daylight, sun is shining, which on February 23rd, 2021, the sun was shining as well. It was one of those sunshiny days, and he was going on his regular morning jog. And two men, Gregory McMichael and Travis McMichael, father-son duo, and cornered him and shot him and killed him and murdered him in cold blood. Remember, this was an unarmed black man. And then he had this supposed to be like citizen, happened to be just videotaping, couldn't find out that he was also in it as well. So, of course, during the election, because this was the Warnock Ossoff runoff against Loeffler and Purdue, they shut that down. He didn't get a bond, thank God. And so now they want to take out, let me tell you the headlines. And listen, Ahmad Aubrey murder. Suspect's lawyers ask court not to use victim at trial. So what else is there? Because, you know, they do have victim laws, okay? So what else was it? I mean, he was killed in cold blood. But this is what the motion, what analysis, somebody did analysis and said what the motion was trying to do. The purpose of this motion is to prevent the prosecution from ignoring its duty to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that crimes were actually committed and that the McMichaels committed the crimes as charged. I hope they get locked away for a long time. So moving on, I just want to honor him. They did some kind of race or run in his honor, raising money. So we're just going to continue praying for that family. And because I know the mother's probably she's still grieving. She's still grieving. Now, let me talk about what's happening as far as the voter suppressions. Okay. Now, this is the GOP. Bill aims to restrict voting in Georgia. What do they want to do? Eliminate Sunday voting. Now, this is good for people who have families and then they're raising their kids, you know, and this would be a good time on Sunday to vote. It's hard to balance work and children and in your own personal life and then try to juggle, sit in line. Because, see, on the Warnock Ossoff thing, they were closing precincts, okay? And with that registered, even with that absentee ballot, and I'm going to get to this too, that I had sent that in like a month ago for the absentee ballot, to register for absentee ballot to be mailed to my home. I never did receive it. In fact, when I walked in, they had a date where it was sent off, but you know, DeJoy messed up the postal system, which there's another thing. They need to get rid of him. They need to get rid of DeJoy because he eliminated a lot of those postal boxes. So they said don't even use that. Just go use the one that says a county elections box. Don't even use the regular U.S. Postal Service because he destroyed so many of the boxes and just destroyed so many machines. But anyway, so they're eliminating Sunday voting. They're limiting the use of drop boxes, imposing an ID requirement for absentee voting, and setting an absentee ballot request deadline 11 days before Election Day. Now remember, it was a close over a month that I had sent in for my request for absentee ballot, and I never did receive it. I haven't received it to this day. And that's the Warnock Ossoff election runoff. Now, so with that being said, let's go on to what this Twitter account said. Republicans on Georgia Senate Ethics Committee just voted to repeal automatic voter registration, which 5 million of state's 7.6 million voters used to register. So what? The COVID showed us that we need to have mail-in voters. and then they didn't even mail in voting. They just, I mean, it's more efficient. It's the way to go. I mean, Brad Rassenberger, even Bill Barr said, the Attorney General for Trump said they didn't find any voter fraud. But forget that the Republicans, Cruz and Hawley and them want to keep on saying that there was voter fraud when there was nothing substantiated through the 60 cases. It's almost like that didn't even happen. But I'm going to tell you what Cobb County going to do. So this is fair fight. You know, Stacey Abrams, she's the one that ran against Perdue. Perdue said he's not running again. But Stacey Adams, I don't know what she's going to do. I don't know what she's going to do. But whatever she's doing now, she's being, she went and not only funded Joe Biden Harris ticket, but she also put millions of dollars into the infrastructure of not only Atlanta and Metro Atlanta, but throughout Georgia. She supplied monies for infrastructure to help bring people to the grassroots, which Republicans have always been noted to be good at. So Fair Fight said on February 26th, today committees in the GOP-led committee, Georgia legislature have, and remember, this is the ethics committee. This is the Georgia Senate Ethics Committee. Keep that in mind. Passed a bill to repeal automatic voter registration, invited an anti-immigrant hate group leader as an expert witness, and passed a bill to ban no excuse mail voting. Let me say this too. Now, there was a group of people, I don't know if the Black Lives Matter, but it's on YouTube, where the black lady went in and she was more vocal, and they was telling her to move, and she went and talked into the bullhorn. And so the heavy-set officer, he's heavy-set, well, because, she's little, so it's something that you would remember, right? So he went and grabbed her, and she said, you take your hands off of me. But some kind of way, somebody up top said, leave them alone, because it was a peaceful protest, remember? And somebody tweeted, probably another hate group, oh, they stormed the Capitol. Excuse me, no, they did not storm the Capitol with weapons and bear spray and guns and ammunition and full fatigue, warlike fatigue and military fatigue. No, they didn't, okay? They were peacefully protesting. I was going to make that distinction. Now, I do not want to see Jump in jail. I think the best way to go after people is go after pocket. Go after the money. Even with that, I still say, with this investigation with those people, they still are gathering, because, I would love to be the prosecutor, bro, on that. That's good. Just go and do a face recognition and go on Facebook. You think you're going to delete those Twitter accounts and those Facebook? That's a digital. I'm like, are these people intelligent or what? Or you so fueled by your hate and your fear? Because that's what you fear for, fear. It's fear and hate that you've been driven to, because you're not even making sense. Because why would you post yourself on Facebook and Twitter and then delete it and think it's gone? It's like an imprint. It will be there forever, okay? Apparently, these people don't watch ID. I watch ID. You put something on their computer, you do a Google search, it's there forever, okay? So, the Republicans are trying to rig the election again. Now, so with that being said, I would love to be a prosecutor there, because y'all gave the people, you gave the prosecutor all the information. But like these people at the Capitol here, they were just making peaceful protests against these are voter suppression. This is going to affect working people. This is going to affect elderly people. This is going to affect students. Now, so they would require absentee voters to provide an ID to apply for an absentee ballot. And Senate Bill 71 would sharply narrow the categories of voters who can apply for the absentee ballot in the first place. Georgians who are 75 years or older, have a physical disability, or fall into other minor categories will still be allowed to cast one. Everyone else would have to vote in person, either early on the election day if these become law. And this will make a dramatic shift from Georgia's current system of no excuse absentee voting. Why? And that is when roughly 1.3 million voters used in last year's general election. So I'm just telling you, I'm keeping my eyes on every election. I'm not going to sleep because they're trying to take our vote. Our vote. You take your vote. That is the essential of democracy. And let me just leave this, because remember, this was the GOP Ethics Committee that did this. And this is what Martin Luther King said. Since this is February 28, 2021, Black History Month, and I want to honor him with this. It says this: and so we should have to do more than register and more than vote. We should have to create leaders who embody virtues we can respect, who have moral and ethical principles we can applaud with enthusiasm. Martin Luther King Jr. And remember, it was the GOP Ethics Committee that wanted to create these laws for voter suppression. Now, let me just want to say one thing too about, I have to say this. I don't want Trump locked up, because all they're going to do is make him a martyr. I don't want him locked up, not at all. I want them to go after the money, like I want them to go after the money. Because, see, it's money that fueled that insurrection. Okay, these people were coming down, and you hear what I'm saying? Private planes. These people were standing over at the hotel kitty corner. I mean, just directly from the White House. You have to have a lot of. I want them to follow the money. But this is the thing, Georgia, Cobb County. I know Cobb County. And what's the other county? DeKalb County is suing Trump for his baseless claims. Because remember, when you lose a lawsuit and it's a frivolous lawsuit, because remember, it amazes me, Harley and Cruz, they talk about, and other people talk, CPAC and all of them talking about these fraudulent things that happen when their own Brad Rassenberger said that there wasn't any fraud. And then the numbers, it was what? One person, one mother, one wife signed her husband's paper. Somebody didn't sign the ballot. It wasn't even enough to overturn the election, okay? But now this is what Cobb County going to do in DeKalb. They said here, Georgia counties are suing Trump for legal fees following his failed voter fraud lawsuits. And this is from the Insider, dated February 25th, 2021. So they suing him. Because remember, you lose a frivolous lawsuit, you're going to have to pay. Usually you have to pay that party's attorney fees, because you brought a frivolous lawsuit. And they said that the claims were found to be procedurally deficient, factually unsupported, or both. Now, I think when you're going to bring something, have some facts. And then given the number of failed lawsuits filed by the former president in his campaign, it says apparently they believe that they could file these baseless and legally deficient actions with impunity, with no regard for the cost extracted from the taxpayer. And I understand why Cobb County and DeKalb County, I think Cobb County is asking, they spent over $10,000. DeKalb County spent over $6,000, but this is just a fraction because there were other counties involved. So I don't know why they asking it. But guess what? With no regard for the cost extracted from the taxpayers. Okay, we're going to pay for all this. Okay? It's the taxpayers again. So they need to raise the $15 minimum wage, because we're going to have to pay for not only that. Remember when Trump did all of his rallies? Well, a lot of those states never got paid. A lot of them states never got paid. I don't even think one of them got paid for the inauguration on Trump. So, but who's paying for it? We're going to pay. So they need to raise that up. Maybe not this bill and maybe the next one. But just know democracy is that everybody votes and every vote is counted and everybody given the opportunity to vote. So thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe and share. And God bless America and God bless our troops.